Hey guys, this is Miss Clevenger, and this is your semester exam study guide review. We're going to be doing these videos a little bit different than we've done videos in the past, where I'm only going to work out 1 or 2 questions in each section, and then you are going to be required to do the rest of it on your own. For our first section, I can order and compare rational numbers, which was 6.2D, something that we did it was unit number 2 this year. So if you want to look at your notes for in your journal, then it's going to be unit 2. We're going to focus on this question here, and we're going to look at this question here. So those are the 2 questions that we're going to focus on during this review. So the first one says, an eye doctor keeps his contact lenses ordered from least to greatest in prescription strength. He has prescriptions for negative 2.5, positive 0.25, negative 1.25, negative 1.5, positive 1.25, positive 5, and negative 2.25. It says, in what order should the lenses be? Remember, the first thing that we're going to do every time is underline the question that's being asked. Based on that, in what order, that's the most important word, so I'm going to circle it in what order. So I've got to go back in my question and find what order they wanted me to order them. And so this says least to greatest. We're going to make sure we highlight or circle that. So I know that my numbers have to be in order from least to greatest. That's smallest to largest. And if we remember, all of our negative numbers, when we order from least to greatest, our negative numbers are going to come first. Our positive numbers are going to come second. So when I look at these numbers, I'm going to find all of my negative ones, and I'm going to put a circle around them. So I've got a negative, I've got a negative, I've got a negative, and I've got a negative. So I'm going to deal with those 4 numbers first. And when I look at the negative numbers, you have to remember that the bigger the number, the smaller it is. So if we look at our negative numbers, our biggest negative number is negative 2.5. After negative 2.5, so I can cross it off because I used it, I'm going to go to negative 2.25, negative 1.5, and then negative 1.25. So I have all of my negative numbers in order from least to greatest. So now I can look at my 3 positive numbers. I've got 1, 2, 3. And if we think of this as money, then I've got 25 cents, 50 cents, and $1.25. And so that is how we order those numbers in order from least to greatest. Remember to think negative to positive. The further I go to the left, the smaller the number, which is why negative 2.5 was smaller and 1.25 was the largest. In our next question, it says, Miles, Sam, Lainey, and Ella each walked from their houses to the mall. Miles walked 4/5 of a mile, Sam walked 2/3 of a mile, Lainey walked 1/2 of a mile, and Ella walked 7/8 of a mile. Order the people based on who walked the furthest. So they want us to order the people based on who walked the furthest. So the first thing I've got to figure out is I've got to figure out who walked the furthest. So over here on the side, I'm going to make a table. So I'm going to do 7/8, 4/5, 1/2, and 2/3. And I want to change these all to decimals. And if you remember how to change a fraction to a decimal, this is going to be really easy for you. But if you don't, in unit 2 or maybe unit 1, we did a equivalency chart with all of our fractions, and these are all our benchmark fractions, so we should know these. I know that 7/8 is 0.875. I know that 4/5 is 0.8. 1/2 is 0.5, and 2/3 is 0.66, repeating because those 6's go on forever. Now, if you didn't know that, you could do 7 divided by 8, so we could have put 7 on the inside, we could have put 8 on the outside, and we could have divided this. I'm not going to. If you want to, you can do it to get the 875, but I just wanted to show you which one goes on the inside, which one goes on the outside. So based on these numbers, we need to look at who went the furthest. Well, this is the furthest, so this one needs to go first. So we need to, but it didn't want us to put the numbers, it wanted us to put the people. So who walked the furthest was Ella. So we're going to put Ella first. After Ella, it was Miles. So we're going to write Miles next. After Miles, it was the 2/3. So we're going to make that third. And 2/3 was Sam. So we're going to put Sam next. And that means last but not least is Lainey. Well, I guess she is the least. But remember, it wanted the people, not the numbers. So once you put the numbers in order, you have to then go back and match them to the people that they represent. And this is how we put these numbers in order from least to greatest. I hope this helped, and stay tuned for video number 2.